awaken from the dream, I can just invite you to continue this journey with me. It really gives me answers as to what is real and what is not. The decision maker has chosen the ego, we fell asleep, and now we believe this is who we are. It's a journey where you have to undo everything that the ego has told you. When we're talking about that top level of God, there's no forgiveness needed for anything. What we have to do is start taking one block at a time. Take it down, take that down. Oh, there's that one too. Choose again, choose the right mind. Forgive yourself for choosing the ego and keep moving. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Starting a Course in Miracles with You. I'm Lita Sportel at litashealing.com and founder of the Whole Wellness Method, and the video you are about to watch is a mini video, a smaller version of the actual full video that I have made. And we are discussing the fundamental concepts of A Course in Miracles. So it's an introduction to A Course in Miracles, some of the terms used inside A Course in Miracles. And that way you get to kind of get an exposure to those principles and see and feel if A Course in Miracles is a path for you. I know it is the path for me in terms of my spirituality path, but there are many paths out there and they all lead to the same place. So you decide if this is your path. So perhaps you want to dive deeper into the full videos of Starting A Course in Miracles with You. And I would love to see you in there and enjoy the mini video. And so in this first video, I want to present to you what Kenneth Wapnick, Dr. Kenneth Wapnick, and the Foundation for A Course in Miracles have written about what is A Course in Miracles, what it says, and some of these key concepts that you will need to know if you are interested in joining into this journey. So, first I want to start with how excited I am. Obviously, I can't hold back on that one because it is a very powerful journey. And if you are just starting it, I can just remember myself being in your shoes and what a new world was introduced to me when I was starting that journey long time ago. So, what is A Course in Miracles? It is a course, like the title implies, which means it is a teaching device. It's a curriculum that is meant to help us awaken from the dream, and it is a teaching device. It consists of 3 books within the one book that you get when you order the book. It's a 669-page text. Yes, very long and very heavy in content. A 488-page workbook for students, which has 365 lessons, one for each day of the year, and a 92-page manual for teachers. So 3 different sections within the book of A Course in Miracles. And I will briefly discuss what each one of those are. And if you are interested in checking out the programs that I have specifically on studying A Course in Miracles with You, the text, studying A Course in Miracles with You, the daily lessons, and studying A Course in Miracles with You, the manual. I have 3 different programs going over each and every one of these sections of A Course in Miracles. So let's get to the good stuff. What it says. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So if we were to summarize the whole, however many pages the total book is, we would summarize it in these 3 sentences. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Which will make more sense as I'm moving along in this discussion. And what matters here to think about is if there's any part of you that has an issue with the word God, you can substitute that for the divine, the source, higher intelligence, greater mind, however it is that you want to call it. It is just a word. It's the symbol that is representing something. So that something, it doesn't matter how you call it, as long as you remember that it's the message that it represents. So nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So this is how A Course in Miracles begins. And it makes a fundamental distinction between the real and the unreal, between knowledge and perception. That's the part I really like about the course. It really gives me answers as to what is real and what is not. Can I say knowledge is truth? So the real is the truth. Under one law, the law of love, or the law of God. So love, God, oneness, used interchangeably. That truth is unalterable, eternal, and unambiguous. You cannot change it. You cannot, it cannot have good and bad days. It cannot have happy and sad moments. It cannot have age. It cannot have it's getting worse. It cannot have birth and death. It's changeless, internal, and nobody can question it or have an opinion or even perceive it. It's not, there's no perception when it comes to that oneness. There's no observer or there's no duality. So there's no perceiver and perceived. It's all one. Now that's the top level. That's level 1 that we talk about in A Course in Miracles. It will make a lot more sense as I'm moving along if I've lost you already, which I hope I haven't. So now it's important to hear this. It can be unrecognized, but it cannot be changed. So we can be here on the level of the world, which we'll talk about in a minute, and we can forget of that top level of oneness, of God, of love, of heaven. We can forget about it. So it can be unrecognized. It could be a level that we don't really quite think about, only when we want to think about it, I guess. But it can be unrecognized, but that doesn't mean it's not there. That doesn't mean it has changed. It doesn't mean that it's less than it was before. It just means we have forgotten it, which is like a big sigh of relief. Thankfully, it merely is. It cannot change no matter what happens here, no matter how good things are here or bad things are here, or how many losses there are, or how much hatred there is, or how many wars there are, or how many natural disasters there are, or whatever it is that happens. That top level, nothing changes there. It's beyond time, it's beyond space, it's beyond even learning, because when you're there, when we're there, which is where we are, but we forget we're there, there's nothing to learn. We're in knowledge. There's no perception, there's no learning. It's pure knowledge. We know who we are, we're one with God, and there's nothing else to it. So for us to expect the world to all have a universal theology is absurd. It just won't happen, because we're all so different on the level of form. But on the level of content, we all are the same, which means that that universal experience is not only possible, but it's necessary, because we can all tap into the truth of who we are. We can all have that universal experience of what it means to be that oneness. We can all experience that, but we don't all need to experience it through the same path. We don't all need to have a Course in Miracles path to get to experience the oneness. We don't all need to have whatever other paths there are, or agree on the specific terms or the specific principles that each philosophy or each spirituality path has. Thankfully, we don't need to do that. They all lead to the same goal. And Plato talked a lot about the whole concept of reality versus illusion, appearance versus what's really true. So appearances, it can seem really believable, but that doesn't mean they're real. So until those Socrates walked outside that cave and said, "Hey guys, there's a whole real world out here. How come we've been focusing on this? There's a whole life, real life, good life out here, and the sun is out here. It's not dark and moldy." That's my addition. When I think of hidden caves, dark, I think of mold, but it's a completely different topic. So Socrates guided them to the light, and some of them didn't want to see the light. And so it's just, another way of saying that what we project is what we perceive. Projection makes perception. What we project is what we're going to see. What I really like about A Course in Miracles is it says you have to use your relationships to awaken from the dream. So you have to be able to deal with the stuff that piss you off with your partner, the stuff that piss you off with your boss, the stuff that make you angry, the stuff that make you upset, the stuff that stress you out, whatever makes you anxious and depressed, and all the problems in your life. You have to work with these problems and with your relationships. You can't escape your relationships. You have to work in your relationships to awaken from that dream. So it's a very practical, worldly philosophy and spirituality that you get to apply every day in everything you're doing, whatever work you have, whatever work you don't have, whatever family or not family you have, whatever you're at in your life is where you apply this to. What we project is what we perceive. Projection makes perception. What we project is what we're going to see. Now, if I want to see that there's another real world, the real world, that's another world from the one that I've been focusing on, then I will see it. If I don't want to see it, I won't see it. But this discussion will make a lot more sense as we move along in this journey as to how projection is really the ultimate mechanism that the ego uses to convince us that this is all there is. And the other thing I want to talk about is the body really quickly. The body is neutral. The body isn't bad, isn't good. It's neutral. What matters is which teacher the body follows, which master the body follows. Does the body follow the master of the ego? Then it's going to be a body that is, again, has the good days and has the bad days, and has the loving days and the special love and has the special hate. If the body, though, follows the teacher of the right mind, and that teacher that we talked about having along your journey, then, or your higher self, however you want to call that, then the body is going to be here with a higher purpose. Is going to be here to be a teacher of God. And it's going to be here to learn the lessons yourself and then demonstrate them to others. It's going to be here to share and extend forgiveness. It's going to be here to help others see that they're not who they think they are. So very different purposes. So it's what purpose do you give to the body? Do you give the body the purpose of the ego, or do you give the body the purpose of the right mind? And you're going to have very different experiences, because what is going to be projected from the ego body is going to be very different than what's going to be extended from the right-minded body. But the good news is that there's no sin, there's no punishment, there's no sacrifice, which are big words found in Christianity, and that Christianity has reinforced our belief in sacrifice, that we need to sacrifice. If when we love somebody, we sacrifice, that we need to atone for our sins, that there's punishment when we're not doing the right thing. So all those things, I'm really happy that A Course in Miracles is disagreeing with those things. So that's that. And then special relationships is our classroom. It's where we use our relationships with others and with ourselves to help us learn forgiveness. And forgiveness is the ultimate lesson of A Course in Miracles and of our path to returning home. So forgiveness is the ultimate goal of A Course in Miracles. In itself, forgiveness is an illusion, meaning that when we're talking about that top level of God, there's no forgiveness needed for anything. What could be forgiven? There's nothing wrong. But in our where we're at, the level we're at, is that we believe that there's something wrong, that there are things going on, either with other people or with our own self. So we need forgiveness in our relationships with others and our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with God. So forgiveness is a necessary path. And again, forgiveness is used in other spiritualities and Christianity, but I will go deeper into how A Course in Miracles views forgiveness, because it is the most, the way that really resonates with what true forgiveness is for me versus the ego's forgiveness, which is I forgive you because I'm a better person than you and I forgive you. A Course in Miracles is going to give us a very different definition of forgiveness that has nothing to do with I forgive you. So we'll talk more about that. What I want to leave you with is one of my favorite quotes from A Course in Miracles that says, "The Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught." So the Course in Miracles is not about teaching you what love is. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. It's one of my favorite quotes from the Course. So the Course is not about telling you, you have to be loving. Love is this. When you love, you do this. When you love, you think this. When you love, you feel this. It's not pushing you to feel the love or to tell you what love is. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. What that means is love is the only real thing there is. We've put blocks over it. So love is over here. We put all these blocks. We're over here. We can't see the love. So what's the point of teaching us what love is if we have all these blocks, all this thick wall of blocks that we just can't see through to the love? What we have to do is start taking one block at a time. Take it down, take that down. Oh, there's that one too. Oh gosh, I didn't see that block over here. Let me take that down too. And then you start seeing through to the love that was always there. Nothing happened to the love was always there. We just couldn't see it. Another metaphor to explain this is the sun and the clouds. The sun is always there, but when it's cloudy, you can't see the sun. Did the sun go away? Did the sun feel hurt? Did the sun change? No, the sun is always there. But the clouds blocked our ability to be aware of the sun. We have to become aware of love's presence by removing the blocks. So that's another reason why I love A Course in Miracles, is because it really helps you look at all these blocks. It doesn't tell you we're all one, we're all love, just love each other. Because that would do nothing if you have all these blocks. You have to see each and every one of these blocks and remove them, which means you have to look at your ego. You have to look at the things you might not want to look at. So, but it's a gentle process. It's not a forceful process where you have to look at, the ego. You look at it with your teacher very gently, and you don't judge yourself. So it's not about you got to look at your sins and atone for them. It's not that at all. It's you got to look at the ego, realize you're not the ego, you just chose the ego. Choose again, choose the right mind, forgive yourself for choosing the ego, and keep moving. I hope you felt some inspiration from this video. And if these are concepts that are interesting to you and you want to see if A Course in Miracles is your path, then join me inside the Starting A Course in Miracles with You program. You are going to be getting a step-by-step process of videos that talk about terms like the mind, the ego, forgiveness, love, fear, and all these different concepts that we find in A Course in Miracles. Also, why there is the Christian language in A Course in Miracles. And we're going to clarify some of these misconceptions around that. And a lot of other things. So just check it out and see if it's a program that you want to dive deeper into. I really hope to see you in there and continue this journey with you. Leaving you in whole wellness. Bye-bye.